Sir, where did you get this check?
It's from a client for consulting work.
Consulting work? And what kind of consulting pays $50,000?
Business consulting. I've been banking here for 15 years.
I'm sure you have. This check looks fraudulent. I'm calling the police.
Ma'am, you can call the company. They'll...
Karen Sullivan had no idea who she was screaming at in that bank lobby. Michael Thompson was 52 years old. He was CEO and founder of Thompson and Associates. His consulting firm was one of the biggest minority-owned companies in Atlanta. He had an MBA from Wharton. He'd spent 25 years helping Fortune 500 companies. His clients included Coca-Cola, Delta, and Home Depot. But here's what Karen didn't know. Thompson sat on the board of directors at First National Bank's parent company. He owned 12% of their stock. That stake was worth $47 million. His firm made $18 million a year. He employed 35 consultants. He'd been a customer at First National for 15 years. He'd deposited over $2 million in his personal accounts. His business accounts held another $12 million. Thompson was married with 2 kids. He lived in Buckhead. He drove a Tesla. He wore suits to client meetings because that's what professionals do. The $50,000 check, it was real. A tech startup paid him after he helped them get $30 million in funding. That's what expert consultants earn. On this Tuesday afternoon in May, Michael Thompson was just trying to deposit a check he'd earned. Karen Sullivan had a reputation at the Peachtree Street branch of First National Bank. She was 38 years old. She'd been branch manager for 6 years. She had a business degree from Georgia State, and she had a serious problem. Internal HR had received 14 complaints in 3 years. 13 of them involved Black or Hispanic customers. The pattern was impossible to ignore. In March 2023, she called police on a Hispanic woman. The woman was depositing $8,000 in cash. It was a wedding gift from her family. Karen claimed it was drug money. In October 2023, she demanded 3 forms of ID from a Black college student. He was opening an account with $500. The white student before him only needed 1 ID. In January 2024, she questioned a Black pastor at this same branch. He was depositing church donations. Karen asked where his congregation really got the money. HR gave her written warnings. They sent her to diversity training. She mocked it in emails to co-workers. But she kept her job because the district manager was her old college roommate. The bank staff called her the profiler behind her back. Tellers tried to help Black customers before Karen noticed them. They knew what would happen if she got involved. Karen always defended herself the same way. She said she was just being thorough. She said she was preventing fraud. But here's the thing, white customers with large deposits were never questioned, ever. Let me know in the comments if you think 14 complaints should have gotten her fired long before this. It was Tuesday, May 14, 2024. The time was 2:47 p.m. First National Bank sat on Peachtree Street in Midtown Atlanta. The building was modern glass and steel. It was in the business district where professionals came and went all day. Inside, it was a typical weekday afternoon. 12 customers waited in line or sat at desks. You could hear keyboards clicking. People talked quietly. The air conditioning hummed. Teller Lisa Martinez was 27 years old. She'd worked there for 4 years. She'd seen Karen's pattern with her own eyes. 2 other tellers worked alongside her. Security guard James Wilson stood near the door. He was 62, a retired police officer. At 2:47 p.m., Michael Thompson walked through the door. He wore a charcoal gray suit. He carried a leather briefcase. He walked with quiet confidence. Karen looked up from her desk. It sat behind a glass partition. Her eyes narrowed immediately. She watched Thompson join the teller line. Thompson pulled out his phone. He checked his emails while waiting. His body language was calm, professional. There was nothing suspicious about him. But Karen stepped out of her office anyway. She positioned herself where she could hear everything. Thompson reached Lisa's window. "Hi, Lisa," he said. "I need to deposit this to my business account." He handed over a $50,000 check and his driver's license. Both were real. Lisa smiled. Of course, Mr. Thompson, let me just. Karen rushed over. She snatched the check right out of Lisa's hand. If stories like this matter to you, hit that subscribe button right now. Sir, where did you get this check? Karen demanded. Thompson stayed calm. It's from a client for consulting work. Karen held up the check. She examined it like it was obviously fake. Consulting work? And what kind of consulting pays $50,000? Business consulting, Thompson said. I've been banking here for 15 years if you want to. Karen cut him off. I'm sure you have. She turned the check over, held it up to the light, made a big show of studying it. Then she announced loudly, loud enough for everyone to hear, this check looks fake. I'm calling the police. Thompson's jaw tightened, but his voice stayed even. Ma'am, you can call the company to verify it. Karen ignored him completely. Thompson tried again. Can I speak to the bank president? That won't be necessary, Karen said. I'm handling this. She waved at the security guard. James, watch this man, make sure he doesn't leave. Thompson pulled out his business card. It showed his CEO title, his company name. Anyone can print a business card, Karen said, barely looking at it. An elderly white woman whispered to her friend, this is ridiculous, he's clearly a businessman. A young black professional pulled out his phone. He started recording. He knew exactly what this was. Lisa Martinez tried to help. Ms. Sullivan, Mr. Thompson has been banking here for years. Karen silenced her with a look. Then Karen picked up her phone. She dialed 911. She kept her eyes locked on Thompson the whole time. Her voice was loud, clear, meant to be heard by everyone. I need police at First National Bank, Peachtree Street. I have a black male trying to deposit a fake check for $50,000. Thompson pulled out more documents, his business license, tax papers, bank statements. I'll wait for the officers, he said quietly. They can verify everything. For the next 15 minutes, Thompson stood in that lobby. Security guard James Wilson watched him. Other customers finished their business. They stared, they whispered. Some looked away, embarrassed for him. Thompson kept his head up. His jaw was clenched, but he maintained his dignity. James Wilson looked uncomfortable. He'd seen Thompson at this bank before. He knew this was wrong, but he followed Karen's orders anyway. Here's what Karen didn't know. The CEO of the company that wrote that check, he played golf with Michael Thompson every Sunday, and he was about to get a very interesting call from the Atlanta police. 2 Atlanta police officers walked through the door at 3:02 p.m. That was 15 minutes after Karen's call. Karen pointed at Thompson immediately. That's him. The check is obviously fake. Thompson handed both officers his driver's license, his business license, corporate tax returns, bank statements showing his real business. Officer Rodriguez looked at the documents. He looked confused about why they were even there. He's a con artist, Karen insisted. That check is fake. You need to arrest him. Thompson spoke calmly. Officers, please call Apex Technology Solutions. The number's on the check. They'll confirm they paid me for consulting services. Officer Chen pulled out his phone. He made the call while Karen hovered nearby. She looked confident, sure she was right. The Apex CFO answered on speaker. Yes, that check is real. Mr. Thompson helped us get $30 million in funding. That's his consulting fee. Is there a problem? Karen's face changed. The smugness disappeared. But there must be. Let me see that check again. 3 people spoke up at once. Lisa Martinez said, Officers, Mr. Thompson has banked here for 15 years. His account shows millions in deposits. Ms. Sullivan never even checked. The customer recording said, I got the whole thing on video. She profiled him the second he walked in. Security guard James Wilson said, I've seen Mr. Thompson here dozens of times. This was wrong. The bank's security cameras had captured everything. 14 different angles. Lisa's computer showed she'd pulled up Thompson's account, but Karen had stopped her from processing the deposit. "Officers, I appreciate you verifying this," Thompson said. His voice was still calm, but there was steel underneath. "Now I'd like to speak with whoever is above Ms. Sullivan, immediately." Officer Rodriguez turned to Thompson. "Sir, we apologize for your time. This should never have happened." Then he turned to Karen. "Ma'am, you filed a false police report. That's a crime." Karen started talking fast. "I was just being thorough. It's my job to prevent fraud." The officers weren't buying it. Thompson spoke clearly. "I'd like her name and employee ID number, and I'm requesting the security footage." Karen's face went pale. She tried to laugh it off. "Sir, let's not make this bigger than." Thompson cut her off. "You made it big when you called the police on me for being black in your bank." He stepped outside, made a phone call. The conversation lasted 3 minutes. 10 minutes later, Regional Vice President David Chen walked through the door. He was 45 years old. He worked directly with the board of directors. When Chen saw Thompson, his face went white. "Mr. Thompson, I am deeply sorry. I had no idea." Karen interrupted. "You know this man?" Her voice shook with confusion. Chen turned to her. His voice was ice. "He's on our board of directors. He owns 12% of the parent company." The lobby went completely silent. Every conversation stopped. Every head turned. Karen's face went from pale to gray. "Type justice in the comments if you think she deserved what came next." David Chen pulled Karen into the conference room. He pulled up the security footage on his laptop. The video showed everything. Thompson walking in calmly, Karen watching him from the moment he entered, before he even reached the teller, her rushing over to grab his check, her calling the police without checking anything. Chen pulled up more records. Karen had 13 complaints in her file, all involving black or Hispanic customers, 0 complaints involving white customers with large deposits. Lisa's computer terminal told the rest of the story. She'd pulled up Thompson's account history, $2.1 million in personal deposits over 15 years, $12 million in business accounts, but Karen had stopped her before she could process the transaction. "You called the police on a board member because of racial profiling," Chen said. His voice shook with anger. "Do you understand what you've done?" Karen tried to defend herself. "I didn't know who he was." "You shouldn't need to know," Chen cut her off. "You should treat every customer with respect." Chen made the call right there. "Karen Sullivan, you're suspended immediately, pending termination." "This is an overreaction," Karen said. Her voice went high and desperate. "I'll sue for wrongful termination," she threatened. "Please, I have a mortgage, kids in private school." None of it worked. Corporate security escorted her out of the building. Chen spoke with Thompson privately for 20 minutes. Thompson made his position clear. His firm's $12 million in accounts would be moved unless there were real changes, system-wide changes. Then Chen walked back into the lobby. He apologized to Thompson publicly in front of all the remaining customers. The customers applauded. Lisa Martinez got a commendation for trying to stop the whole thing. But the consequences were just beginning, because the customer who'd been recording, he just uploaded the video to Twitter. 10 minutes later, Thompson sat in his car. He was about to drive away. Then his phone started buzzing, text after text, email after email. The video was spreading. If you want to see more stories where justice actually happens, hit that subscribe button now. By 4:15 p.m., the video was on Twitter. The caption read, "Bank manager calls cops on black businessman for depositing his own money." By 5:00 p.m., it had 50,000 views. The hashtag banking while black was trending in Atlanta. By 6:00 p.m., 250,000 views. Local news stations were calling Thompson's office. WSB-TV sent a crew to interview him. By 8:00 p.m., 1.2 million views. National outlets wanted interviews. First National's corporate Twitter was getting flooded with angry comments. By midnight, 4.7 million people had seen the video. It was on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. It was trending #1 nationwide. The comments section exploded. One person wrote, "Board member owns 12% and she still profiled him. Imagine what happens to regular black customers." A civil rights lawyer commented, "This is textbook discrimination, class action waiting to happen." A local activist wrote, "First National has a pattern, 14 complaints, how is she still employed?" A business owner said, "Moving my company's accounts tomorrow, done with First National." WSB-TV led their 11 p.m. news with the story. CNN picked it up the next morning. The New York Times ran an article, "Banking While Black, the $50,000 check that exposed racism." First National issued a statement at 11:47 p.m. "We are investigating this incident and do not tolerate discrimination of any kind." It was too little, too late. Karen tried to control the damage. She posted a Facebook apology at 9:23 p.m. She said she misunderstood the situation. She got 12,000 angry comments. She deleted it within an hour. People started digging through her old social media. They found questionable posts. Screenshots spread everywhere. 3 days later, Karen hired a lawyer. She threatened to sue First National for wrongful termination. It was the worst decision she could have made. Let me know in the comments what you think happened to her next. On May 22, 2024, Michael Thompson filed a federal lawsuit. He sued First National Bank for discrimination. The lawsuit cited the Civil Rights Act. It claimed the bank had a pattern of racial profiling. Karen Sullivan fired back on June 1. She sued the bank for wrongful termination. She claimed she was following protocol. That lawsuit became proof she'd learned nothing. Thompson's lawyers demanded all HR records. They found 27 discrimination complaints against First National branches. Not just Karen, 23 involved customers of color. They found Karen's emails. She'd mocked the diversity training. She'd called black customers high risk with zero evidence. Wait until you hear what the bank had to pay. Thompson's lawsuit settled for $750,000. He donated every penny to organizations fighting discrimination. Karen's lawsuit dismissed. The judge said she had no case. She was ordered to pay the bank's legal fees, $43,000. But that wasn't all. 47 other black business owners filed a class action lawsuit. They'd all experienced similar treatment at First National branches. That case settled for $3.2 million. Now here's where it gets expensive for the bank. Thompson moved his $12 million to a competitor. His business network followed. 47 business owners withdrew $18.4 million total from First National branches. The bank's stock dropped 8% in one day. That's $340 million in market value, gone. The Peachtree Street branch lost 23% of its business. Wealthy black customers left and never came back. Karen Sullivan was fired on May 15, 2024. Security walked her out. She was banned from every First National branch in the country. She couldn't get within 500 feet of Thompson's business or home. She tried to get another banking job. Nobody would hire her. Her name was poison in the industry. She ended up taking a job processing insurance claims. It paid 40% less. Karen was also charged with filing a false police report. She pleaded guilty. The judge gave her 40 hours of community service at a civil rights organization, plus a $1,000 fine. Thompson got a restraining order. Karen had to stay 1,000 feet away from him. She tried one more public statement on local news. She said, "This has been blown out of proportion." It made everything worse. Thompson's response was simple. This was never about money. It's about changing a system that lets people like Karen Sullivan abuse their power based on skin color. But Thompson wasn't done yet. On June 18, 2024, Michael Thompson held a press conference. 12 news outlets showed up at his office. "I've been successful for 25 years, he said. "I've earned everything I have, and in 15 minutes, Karen Sullivan made me feel like a criminal in a bank where I've deposited millions." His voice was steady, but you could hear the pain underneath. "If this can happen to me, someone with resources, education, and legal power, imagine what happens every day to black people without those advantages." Thompson shared statistics. 78% of black Americans report discrimination in banks or stores. Black-owned businesses face 3 times more scrutiny when applying for loans. This isn't just stories, it's documented racism. He had a message for workers. If you're a bank teller or retail worker and you see discrimination, speak up. Lisa Martinez tried to stop this. Be like Lisa. He had a message for customers too. You don't get to treat people like criminals because of their skin color, period. There are consequences now. Thompson explained what he'd won. First National agreed to mandatory training for all employees. They're hiring a chief diversity officer. They're creating a $5 million fund for minority business development. But that's just one bank. We need change everywhere. He thanked the people who helped. To the customer who recorded this, to Lisa who tried to intervene, to my family who supported me through the humiliation, thank you. His closing statement was powerful. Respect isn't something you earn based on your bank balance. It's something every human being deserves the moment they walk through the door. And if you can't give that, you don't belong in a position of power. But this case showed something bigger, something we all need to understand. This wasn't just about one racist manager. The Federal Reserve found that black customers are almost 3 times more likely to have real transactions questioned than white customers. 43% of black business owners report being treated suspiciously when making large deposits. The ACLU found that 67% of these incidents involve managers, not tellers. That means it's a training problem. Black-owned businesses lose an estimated $16 billion every year because banking discrimination creates barriers to growth. Thompson won because he had money, connections, and a platform. Most victims get dismissed and forgotten. First National changed some policies, other banks followed, but there's still no federal database tracking discrimination complaints. That means Karen Sullivan could get fired from one bank and hired by another. Nobody would know her history. This isn't just about banking, it's about who gets treated as legitimate in society, who gets the benefit of the doubt, and who gets treated like a criminal until proven innocent. So let me ask you, do we accept a system where a black board member can be treated like a criminal in his own bank? Do we accept that 14 complaints can be ignored until someone with power gets profiled? Do we accept that Karen Sullivan's behavior was shocking, not because it was unusual, but because this time someone caught it on camera? Because if we don't demand real change, if we don't hold these institutions accountable beyond one viral video, then we're just waiting for the next Karen Sullivan, the next Michael Thompson, the next $18 million lesson that changes nothing. This case only got justice because Thompson had power. What about the single mom who gets profiled cashing her paycheck, the college student who gets police called on them for depositing financial aid? They don't go viral. They just learn to accept disrespect. Comment below if you believe banks should be required to report discrimination complaints by race. Let's see if people agree. If you think stories like this matter, hit that subscribe button. We're going to keep exposing these patterns. We're going to keep demanding better. We're going to keep fighting for accountability. This isn't just about one racist manager or one successful businessman. It's about all of us and the system we are willing to tolerate. See you in the next one.